Have you seen these big ugly tanks popping up on building sites in your area and wondering what they are? This is a 2,000 litre stormwater retention tank. On most of the urban houses we're building, these are now mandatory and required. Each site needs to collect and resolve its own stormwater. First disclaimer, I'm a builder, not a hydro expert person. I just do what I'm told on site. The information in this video is just what I've gathered talking to the council and the engineers and the installers and kind of piecing that all together, basically to explain to my clients why we have to start using these. You may be familiar with water tanks on rural sites like this one here. That's two 25,000 litre water tanks. That is that property's entire water supply, and that's hooked up to a pump and feeds the water back to the house for the kitchen, the shower, the toilet, everything. These are a little bit different. The main goal of this is to retain water and slowly feed it back into the system. So as we build more and more houses, we don't overload the existing stormwater system. As the properties get smaller and smaller, we're losing more permeable surfaces. Think grass, gravel, planting. We're ending up with less of those and more hard surfaces. Now, hard surfaces collect the rain and don't let it soak into the ground. That means that it all ends up getting sent to the stormwater, and the stormwater gets directed to the river. But if there's a big surge of hard rain, all of those hard surfaces are catching a lot of water that was previously getting soaked into the earth, and they're now sending that to the stormwater system. That stormwater system is getting overloaded, and that's why we end up with like flooding in our roads and our rivers. This is not the only option to retain water. There are less intrusive options. You've got in-slab options, you've got in-ground options that you can build patios over. A couple of years ago I did some houses in Waikanae and we had big concrete in-ground retention tanks and we built the patios over those. So there are other options. Basically, this is the most cost-effective solution that is the easiest to get materials for, easiest to get the plumber and the drain layer to get their head around, easiest for us to get through the process. And that's a really important note. Basically, the biggest thing is this adds cost. It probably adds realistically about 10K to each house right now. Sounds like a lot, but you got to buy the tank. That's reasonably expensive. And then we've got to put down a special foundation for that. It's also got to get incorporated into the plans. So that's now an extra stage of consenting process. For this house here, all of the downpipes get sent all the way to the back of the property and then get sent all the way to the front of the property back to the stormwater. So we're now running extra drainage. That's extra time, that's extra management, that's extra cost. All of that stuff, it's just another cost. That means trenches are opening up on site for longer, that delays our landscaping, that delays handover. It's just another thing to juggle. One thing that's not going down the drain is my subscribers. So go ahead, click subscribe, help us lift it up. You know, the rules have changed a lot in the 10 or so years that I've been building homes, and that's okay. We will keep adjusting. It's just letting people know this is what it is and this is why we have to do it. And like with one of these, why your build's costing more than it would without one of these. Like these have been popping up on our projects for a while now. We've had to use them at Waifatu Road. We've used them at Exchange Street. We're using them in Wainui. You will see them popping up more and more. Most subdividable properties will have them. Any new builds now will have them, unless you're in an area where there's no stormwater services and your site needs to contain its own stormwater runoff. So that would be a soak pit. And there's a couple of areas in Upper Hutt where there's no stormwater services, so we do soak pits on site. But basically we're doing the same thing and it costs about the same amount of money. We're digging a giant hole, we're putting a barrel in it, we're filling that hole with river rock, and then we're proving that that hole can handle a surge load of water, then that water can dissipate into the earth. So what do you think about the water tanks? Are they ugly, costly, necessary? Waste of time? How would you approach it if you were doing your build?